This Transformers 96 here with another end of the year video. This is a video that I do every year, and it's going to be my ranking of the Hot Toys figures that I received this year in order from my least favorite to my absolute favorite. I did receive quite a few Hot Toys this year. Every year I actually seem to get more Hot Toys. I'm at 14 this year, and one of those spots consists of 3 figures, but I'm bundling them together because they're so similar. So this is definitely going to be probably the longest countdown that I'm doing. I think the last year I had like 11 or 12, I think, and then this year, if you count the one spot that has 3 figures, that's 16 figures. So I did quite well this year. I'm very much excited for my Hot Toys next year, and I've got a ton on pre-orders that I can't wait for. But let's break down this year's Hot Toys. There's been quite a few good ones and a few ones that disappointed me, but let's see how they compare to each other. In last place, we do have the Iron Man 3 Iron Legion Gamma figure. Now, as a figure as a whole, it is really executed very nicely. I do like it a lot. The design is very unique and very cool. I really love the way that it's been painted and all the speckling pieces, and then the green's been washed over it, and then given a battle damage motif. Very nice. I love the figure as a figure, but personally, I didn't have too much fun with it because of mainly its design. I mean, it's a bulky armor that has pile driver arms. Therefore, there's not much you can do with it. I mean, you're really restricted to just kind of like punching the ground type of poses, and that's it. You know, flying poses isn't going to look good for him. There's obviously no repulsor blasts. There's nothing but kind of like punching the floor, and he certainly has the articulation to be able to achieve that. But therefore, when I was posing him, you know, that's kind of the pose I put him in. Took a couple pictures, and then he went on my shelf. He's a fantastic addition to my Iron Legion collection. However, personally, as a figure, I didn't have a ton of fun with this one, although I'm very happy to have it in my collection. At 14th place, we have the Stormtroopers. These are 3 different Stormtroopers, however, they use the same basic body for the most part, and therefore I'm bundling them into one. These figures deserve a low spot on this list because of their articulation, mainly. Their looks are very good. I really do like the proportions. They look great on a shelf. They're very shiny, very clean, very pristine. However, their articulation is so hindered you can barely do anything with them. The heavy gunner can't hold his gun at all. The regular Stormtroopers, it's a real hassle to get them to hold their gun with 2 hands, and then don't get me started on trying to put them in any sort of like battle pose. I mean, that's just not going to happen. So their horrid articulation keeps them from being any higher on this list. They look great, but they're not fun to mess around with. And right above the Stormtroopers, we have Captain Phasma. Now, this figure is, of course, better than the Stormtroopers. She's bigger. She comes with a cape. You have a cooler gun. They have improved the articulation, at least the strength of the joints that now have like a more ratcheting effect, and therefore it's much easier to get her to hold her gun in 2 hands. You're still not going to get any great battling poses or anything like that, but they have improved the figure as a whole, and of course the chrome paint job is extremely cool. I just didn't have super fun with this figure, considering I didn't want to touch the chrome too much to put fingerprints on it, and I certainly didn't want to chip any of the chrome away. One thing that I really dislike is there is a bit of a cloudiness effect in the chest area. That's straight out of the box. That's how that looks, and I've seen from other people that other people have the same type of issue. So it's very annoying. I really don't like that. The figure looks really great. I mean, super cool. That's, you know, what she's for in the movie, basically, to look awesome. But not super fun, and therefore not deserving much higher place than the Stormtroopers themselves. And 12th place goes to Vision. Now, this figure I was probably least looking forward to this year. I really didn't have much of a want for it. I bought it because he is like a main Avenger now, and that's about it. I mean, the figure itself didn't look good to me. I wasn't happy about the fact that they were reusing the same type of material that they used with Superman. I think that the pink is a completely off color and doesn't look good, and I was not excited for it. When I got it in hand, I actually kind of enjoyed it. I found that the articulation was quite good, and I was a little bit less worried about posing him and leaving marks in the suit because my suit had damage on it already, so I had a replacement one. So I was more willing to put him in poses, which made it quite nice, and I was very happy with the articulated cape. However, after I had fun with him when I initially got him, I kind of just stopped, and now he's just kind of been on my shelf, and, you know, he hasn't really done too much. So I kind of went on a roller coaster with this guy of not wanting him to very much enjoy enjoying him to, you know, again, not being very pleased with him. So this figure is good for me, but I'm not loving it at this point. And you know, it's nice to have as a character, but the figure wise, it's not 100% great. And 11th place goes to Ultron Prime. So this figure is quite interesting. I mean, it was quite expensive. I was excited to get it, and when I got it, I actually had quite a bit of fun with it because I was very impressed with its articulation. It has quite good articulation. I like the lights a lot, and it was a fun figure. But then when I put it on my shelf at the end of the day, basically, it really disappointed me because when he doesn't have his lights off, this figure really looks like a figure. I mean, Hot Toys figures are known for their incredible detail and their really lifelike look to them. But this Ultron without lights on, he just looks dead. He looks like a piece of plastic, you know, definitely just looks like a regular figure. So he's very disappointing with the lights off. When you have the lights on and you're posing him up and, you know, things like that, then it's a good figure. With the lights off, it is really just like a toy on the shelf, which is incredibly disappointing. And therefore, after I've you know, not done much with him, he's just become more of a disappointment when I see him on my shelf because he just looks dead. It doesn't even look like he's you know, a figure in the collection, which is definitely very disappointing. At 10th place, we have Boba Fett. This was a figure that I really wanted, however, I knew it wasn't 100% necessary, and therefore I waited a long time to order it. I actually ended up buying it after it came out, and went to a local toy shop, Toy Anxiety, to get it, and yeah, I'm very happy that I did get it, though. The articulation on this guy is great, very happy with his accessories. I absolutely love the Sarlacc pit base that he comes with. I think that the detail on him is fantastic. My biggest issue is the placement of the chest panels, it being way off-centered, and it seems like that's the case on just about every figure, which is very disappointing. But the figure itself is really great. Comes with a lot of stuff to change him up into, to put him in fun poses, and just as a whole, an excellent figure. At 9th place, there's Finn. Finn is quite a good figure. He does come with quite a lot of accessories. His articulation is pretty great and really not hindered by his clothing at all, which is really nice and definitely helps with lightsaber fighting poses. My issues with this figure are pretty limited. It's just that the legs are a bit thin, especially if you have him posed where his pants aren't going to be laying, you know, particularly flat. It's kind of going to give some of the areas of his legs having a very thin look to them, which is definitely a shame. Wish that they used a bit of padding there, and especially in the ankles, gave it a bit of padding, but as a whole, this is quite a good figure. I definitely do enjoy it. Taking that 8th spot is Ant-Man. So Ant-Man is a figure that I was debating whether to get or not, or to wait for the Civil War one. I didn't know what to do, which costume I liked better. I ended up going with this first classic looking Ant-Man from his own movie, and I'm very happy I did so. I absolutely love the look of the costume. I think that they have a great Paul Rudd likeness inside. Articulation is relatively limited, however, it's enough to get him in cool stances, and just the figure as a whole brings such a cool presence to him, and he's based on an excellent character that I really enjoy as well. So I had a ton of fun with this figure, and I also really enjoyed this figure because I was able to pose it with my 3 3/4 inch Avengers collection as a Giant Man figure, and it created a lot of incredibly fun poses to do and to post, and I got some great feedback. So I really enjoyed this figure as a whole, and definitely one of my favorite ones this year. And I'm putting Rey at 7th place. So Rey is quite a good figure. I do definitely like this figure quite a bit. Has great articulation that's not hindered by her clothing whatsoever. There's lots of layering to her clothing. The face sculpt I like a lot. I do like the fact that she has a slightly opened mouth, and she comes with a ton of accessories, which is very nice. And of course, the deluxe edition does come with BB-8, and BB-8 is a great extra piece to this figure. So really did enjoy this figure quite a bit. 6th place goes to the shotgun armor from the Iron Legion. This was one of my favorite armors from the Iron Legion, and I was very pleased that they were going to finally make him, and the final product did not disappoint. I love the design, very slick, very sharp, really nice. Love the paint, the silvers, the grays, the metallic blues, but they're kind of like light blues with a white trim. Wonderful, really do love it. Articulation is excellent. Love the fact that you get a Tony Stark head sculpt and interchangeable damaged parts. which is something that is very unusual. Usually these Iron Legion figures come with just about nothing. You know, you get the 3 standard hands in the base. This one actually comes with some stuff to change him out and do some fun special things. You also have lights in unique places on him. He's really good at, you know, I've been getting very tired of Iron Legion figures because they come with the same things and they have relatively the same articulation and things like that. So to have a new Iron Legion figure that has a wonderful design, fantastic paint, and some actual accessories so you can do some fun things with him was really refreshing and really nice, and this was a great way to end my Iron Legion collection. It was the last armor that I received, and it's the last one that I plan to get, and therefore the Iron Legion collection ended on a high note. The 5th spot is taken by Batman from Batman v Superman. This figure was excellent, I would have to say. For having a skin-tight suit that has so much detail and has padding for the muscles, it is pretty incredible how much articulation this figure holds and maintains. The face sculpt is wonderful, and I do love the alternative pieces of the face and eyes to therefore give him more expressions. It comes with a slew of weapons and accessories, which will keep the figure fresh, and in general was an excellent representation of this Batman character, and especially considering that the first pictures of him weren't looking too good. So it's wonderful to see that Hot Toys got their act together by the final release, and the figure turned out to be a fan favorite, I would say, of Hot Toys collectors this year. I mean, this one and Deadpool, I would say, are probably the 2 most popular Hot Toys figures from the year. You know, I'm not quite sure if that's true, but from what I've seen, that's what it seems to be. So this is an excellent figure, definitely deserving that 5th spot on my list. At 4th place, we have Ultron Mark 1. This is, of course, the Ultron that I preferred this year. Really wonderful figure, and what makes him so wonderful is how unique he is. Definitely unlike anything we've ever seen from Hot Toys. The detail on this guy is fantastic. Obviously, the character lends itself to that incredible detail, and Hot Toys did not disappoint. Really wonderful looking figure, surprisingly well articulated. I was expecting less articulation than he actually has, which is very nice, and in excellent likeness to this character, and one of the coolest characters from, one of the coolest scenes in the movie was this character. So very happy with this figure, really enjoyed it, much more than I even expected to, because I was really expecting not to be able to do too much with him, but I was actually able to have a ton of fun with him, and he is a standout in the collection, I'd say. Now we're to the big leagues. Now we have in 3rd place, of course, the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. So 3, 2, and 1 here were really hard to order. I had tremendous trouble as to deciding in what order to put these guys in. This one actually, up until a few seconds ago, was number 2, but I made this list a few days ago, so while shooting this I decided to put him at number 3, because the 3 at the top are so great, but they're so great for completely different reasons, and therefore it was really hard to order them. But at 3rd place, I've given it to Thanos. Thanos is a character that I'm extremely excited to see get fully realized in his own movie, you know, in his movie where he is the main antagonist, and the figure itself is represented really well. Very happy they did not do rubber. They went with full joints, which is great. His throne is fantastic, and something that I personally really love. The likeness is great, although really lacking in expression, which is definitely a shame, and I'm disappointed in the fact that he doesn't come with very many hands. The reason I said to bump him to 3rd place was because of the lack of expression, lack of hands, and the price tag. He's very expensive. He's $415, but he does come with full thrones. But at that price point, he definitely, I would say that the number 2 spot does beat him, but still an excellent figure, definitely deserving the bronze place on this list, basically. And the character that beat Thanos to get that 2nd spot is Scarlet Witch. This figure really blew me away. I was very anticipating it. I thought that the face sculpt looked fantastic from the production images, and the figure did not disappoint. I am still very happy in the face sculpt. My only issue with it is the hair. I'm not a huge fan of how the hair's been done. I think that the more plastic route that they're going with now with Harley Quinn and Jyn Erso is the route to go. I think that this rooted hair lends itself to too much frizz, and it doesn't stay completely perfect, and I really don't want to put product in it and try to straighten it or anything like that. So I'm very disappointed with the hair. But other than that, this figure is pretty perfect. The look of the costume is excellent. She has all of her joints hidden, but they're hidden in a strategic way where you can actually kind of pull up the sleeve or pull down the stockings and get some more articulation in there, which is wonderful. It allowed them to not do rubber, but still give you the full range without showing a joint, which is excellent. Very happy with that. I'm also incredibly impressed with the expressive hands. Was able to do a ton of fun poses with that, and this figure is just unrestricted. I mean, there's not a pose that this figure can't strike, which is wonderful. I'm very happy with this figure and definitely deserving the silver medal on this countdown. First place, my favorite Hot Toy figure of the year has to be Kylo Ren. It was very hard to decide what my first place figure would be, and I was so close to not putting him at number one because he is lacking the Adam Driver head sculpt, which I think is so crucial for this figure to come with. However, I've decided to give it a pass, and because of how fast this figure came out, that there might have not been time to do an Adam Driver head sculpt, although I do believe that they should have just waited to give us one. Nonetheless, I loved this figure. This figure has extensive clothing that is really captured perfectly, that keeps his form very nicely, especially in the arms. I've seen a lot of figures where the sleeves take out the muscle structure of the arms, or they leave the structure in there, but the articulation sucks. This one, you get the perfect muscle structure seen through the cloth, but it also has perfect articulation. This guy isn't hindered whatsoever, and he is fully clothed. I mean, there's not a part on him that isn't fully clothed, and there's not a part on him that's restricted, which is incredible. Even in the boots, he has big, long boots that aren't hindered whatsoever. He's got a full ankle joint in there, which can do anything. The pants don't restrict him at all. Sleeves don't restrict him. Head has a full range. He has some excellent clothing and excellent detail in the clothing, and definitely is an extremely fun figure. One, if not, maybe my first Hot Toys figure of the year, and it really started the year off great because I enjoyed this figure to the fullest. It's a character that I really loved as well, so that just made it even better. This is a perfect figure in my opinion, just missing that one accessory. However, if you don't look at it with that accessory missed, this is a perfect figure. I absolutely loved it. I had a ton of fun with it, and definitely deserving that first spot on this list. And now Kylo Ren can be added to the Hall of Fame here. These are each of the figures that have won over the past few years. We have Joker for 2013, the Mandarin for 2014, Falcon for 2015, and now Kylo Ren for 2016. These are all excellent figures, and they all were my personal favorites of the year. So yeah, and Kylo Ren definitely deserves to be in this company as one of these great figures. I will say that all of these figures have one thing in common. They have excellent articulation, and I enjoy them to the fullest when I got them, and I haven't stopped enjoying them. They're still just as much fun now as they were when I first received them. So let me know what you guys think of my list. I'm sure there's some that you agree with me on and some that you completely disagree with me on. I would love to hear, as well as I'd love to hear what your personal favorite Hot Toys figures of the year are, and if you want to rank, all of the ones that you received, I'd love to hear that as well. So let me know what you guys think of this, and let me know what your top picks are. Thanks so much for watching.